Okay, in this teaching module, we're going to be talking about the factors of production, the official categories in economics for the factors of production. And we're going to relate this to factor mobility and the market process to understand the Austrian understanding of the market process, the decentralized market, based around the price signal, as the entrepreneur seeks the highest returns, and that's called the market process. So the factors of production are land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurial talent. So the original economists, modern economists, early modern economists, the French physiocrats, they believed that all value comes from the land, from labor working the land. Again, the French physiocrats, and the French introduced geography and topography. So the French physiocrats, they called themselves les économistes, or what they did, the only thing they thought about was the economy, les économistes. And they introduced the term laissez-faire, laissez-passer. How does Paris get fed? Laissez-faire, laissez-passer. Let the market work. Let it be, let it pass. Laissez-passer, the French physiocrats. They introduced land as the factor of production, and then labor as a factor of production. Adam Smith and Karl Marx had a labor theory of value, or theory of value. And then as we discussed, Adam Smith is writing during what he called the commercial period of history, and what Marx then later called capitalism. So land, labor, and capital are the first three categories of the factors of production. And you'll note that these are objective cost of production theories of value, where something has value because it's produced. And then land, labor, and capital are objective constructs. They cannot explain change, creative dynamics, creative destruction, economic growth in the market. So you had in society, so you had in the 1870s, concurrent with the emergence of psychology, you get a new theory of value. And that's subjective demand. Something has value now because it's demanded. So you have a big change in the theory of value, and that's called the marginal revolution, where subjective things have value, because economic value, because they're subjectively demanded. So this marginal revolution in the 1870s then changes the way economics is looked at in the theory of value. So a quick story on les économistes. The physiocrats, the Tsar in Russia had heard about this new school of thought, laissez-faire, laissez-passer, the physiocrats. So the Tsar sent for, I believe it was Turgot, the French physiocrat, and went to St. Petersburg. And the Tsar said, okay, so what can I do to help the economy? And then the French physiocrat said, laissez-faire, laissez-passer, just get out of the way. So the Tsar kicked the French economists out of the country, because of course the Tsar wanted to maintain control. So Adam Smith was also a laissez-faire economist, as was Karl Marx. Okay, so then you have entrepreneurial talent, marginal revolution. So entrepreneurial talent can explain creative destruction, as entrepreneurs are trying to create new markets, new forms of value by through the creative process to develop a demand and create value. So the way the market process works, so In order to have the market work, you need factor mobility. Land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurial talent need to be free to seek their highest returns. So let's say you have something over here that's earning 4% and something over here that's earning 6%. Well, entrepreneurs are going to take their factors of production and move them from the 4% to the 6%. So this competitive process, this market process through competition, then creates normal profits. So as long as you have perfect factor mobility, no government intervention, laissez-faire, laissez-passer, you're going to have the maximized profits, the greatest wealth creation, and normal profits, because competition will compete away any profits. So economists call this competitive process, or this market process, resulting in normal profits. That's called perfect competition or market competition. And then Rogers in Law and Liberty 2018, which is available on my website, talks about as long as there's no barriers to entry, then you have a market process. But once the state starts putting in barriers to entry, such as occupational licensing or other special treatments such as trade barriers, well, then you no longer have the market process. You no longer have factor mobility. You have factor immobilities when the state starts putting in barriers to entry. And then when you have these barriers to entry, that creates above normal or super profits, because the competition process, the market process, isn't allowed to work. So, and then we know from Hayek, 1945, Use of Knowledge in Society, when the decentralized price signal, when the economy and society is not allowed to emerge, institutions of society aren't allowed to emerge through exchange in the market process, through the price signal, that brings social crisis. And you'll see that with rent control, minimum wage, prohibition, things like that. When the market process isn't allowed to work, you get social crisis. From Hayek's, the basis for that understanding is from Hayek, Use of Knowledge in Society. So that's factors of the teaching module on factors of production, factor mobility in the market process. Thank you.